Hitchens, Racer, Guy.
Hello and welcome to the Hitchens Razor Gang. I'm Googs.
And I'm Jesse.
And today we've got some rather interesting topics, haven't we?
I believe so. I think we try and keep every week interesting.
So would you like to start with your first subject?
Topical this week. Our good old friend Donald Trump, source of much mirth and joy, has decided that Jerusalem is now the capital of Israel.
Hang on, let me just break that down with you. It's been the capital of Israel since 1947.
But not everyone agrees with you.
Yeah, but regardless, it has been the capital. You go to any atlas since 1947, the capital of Israel is Jerusalem.
Okay, so when I said he's made it the capital, he's moved his embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, which then gives more meaning to the fact that he's calling it the capital.
Which it is.
Yes. But again, not everyone agrees that it should be, or even sees it like that.
Who disagrees with it?
172 United Nations member countries.
Well, okay. Let's narrow that down. Who are the people who've really got a problem with it?
Palestinians?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Palestinians have a problem with West Jerusalem. That's supposedly a part of Palestine, right?
Yeah.
And so therefore it's under contention. Now, I get the fact that there are people who don't want to accept that the Atlas has been correct since 1947. This to me speaks of two different issues, and us being Aussies, one of those is, when we talk about sacred sites, okay, Aboriginal sacred sites, we go, well, fair enough, those places are sacred to Aboriginal people of those areas should have the rights to that area.
Yes.
The traditional land of the Jews is which country? Israel.
Israel, yeah.
And the capital of Judea, or Israel, has been Jerusalem.
Yes. Yes.
So the traditional owners of the land, if you will, I understand that Palestine and the Muslims, not all, Muslims, they sort of took over that entire land and kicked a whole lot of Jewish people off that land circa 700 AD.
I believe that would be technically hashtag not all Muslims.
I don't Twitter. I'm not a twit. Well, okay. But you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I do.
So, whose land is it? Well, you could argue that it's the Palestinians' land. But, the main reason that they want West Jerusalem, mind you, is because the Church of the Holy Rock is sitting on top of what remains of King Solomon's temple. Work that one out first. Which came first, the temple that was built upon or the temple that's already on? Hang on. So, as far as I'm concerned, I have no problems with Jerusalem being the capital city. I see no contention there. Israel has not once said that they are going to stop anybody from worshipping at the Holy Mosque of the Rock. So I really don't know what the UN is trying to prove here. Now, I understand that Donald Trump, being Donald Trump, he's trying to make a statement.
Yes.
As he always does. And he's saying, look, Tel Aviv is not the capital city, so why the hell are we doing commerce in Tel Aviv when we should be doing commerce in the capital city of Israel?
Yes.
Jerusalem. It makes sense. It's like, I don't know, the UN deciding tomorrow that Melbourne is the capital of Australia because no one wants to go to Canberra, and who could blame them? But, it would be that silly. No, you want your embassy at the capital city.
You do, but unfortunately, obviously, it's not that simple. During 1967, Israel captured the eastern half of Jerusalem, which then they said this is now one city, Jerusalem, defying the 1947 edict from the UN, which said it was basically two cities.
UN, probably League of Nations.
Under the 1947 UN petition plan to divide historical Palestine between Jewish and Arab states.
Yeah, well, you call it the UN. I thought it was the League of Nations still back then.
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. That's equivalent. Yeah. But what about the fact that why the hell should Jerusalem be only half a city? I mean, that's as silly as East and West Berlin because of Russia and bloody West Europe.
Yes, I agree. But who gets to own the whole city?
Well, the people who actually, the country, it's the capital of the country, isn't it?
Yes.
As Berlin was the capital of Germany.
it's a country divided.
Well, no. As far as look, when it comes to the two-state idea, I can't believe it hasn't been done yet. Palestine is Palestine. Israel is Israel. Okay.
Yeah.
I have not got an issue with that. But the thing is, why the hell should they have half a city? And to be quite honest, this is about religion.
That is very clear.
Let's be very clear. This is a cultural clash.
Yeah.
This isn't the Gaza Strip. And the Gaza Strip, I support the Palestinians on the Gaza Strip.
Okay.
It's their land that got stolen by Israel. Absolutely, no problems. But when we're talking about half a city and the capital city thereof, and it's a religious thing. Now, if you want to take it quite strictly, take this. Where's Bethlehem?
No.
Bethlehem's in Palestine. What happens if all the Christians of the world went, well, up yours, it's an extremely important city to our faith, we're just going to take it?
Yep.
Would that be okay?
Probably not.
No. To me, it comes down to Jerusalem is the capital city, and even if it was only half a city, it would still be the capital city. So why can't Trump move it to that half of the capital city? Not Trump. Well, let's stop using the word Trump. Let's start using the word America. Move it to that half of this. They would have moved it there anyway. It would have maybe been half the city, but it still would have been there. This is purely about the politics of religion.
Yeah, of course. But, I mean, let's face it, the Israelites not necessarily treating the Palestinians that well.
And the other way around.
Of course. But the Israelis, actually, as far as we're concerned, own the city. They have come out and annexed the second half, and Palestinians are technically foreign immigrants in Jerusalem.
As would Israeli or Jewish people, born in Palestine.
Yeah, but so that people are living in their house that they've lived in their whole life. If they ever leave for whatever reason, they then have to prove that they were born there and can come back and continue to be citizens.
You ever heard of passports?
No, I'm serious.
But you'd have a passport.
Any Palestinian who has lived outside the boundaries of Jerusalem for a certain period of time, whether in a foreign country or even the West Bank, is at risk of losing their right to live there. Those who cannot prove that the centre of their life is in Jerusalem and that they live there continuously lose their right to live in the city of their birth.
What's that got to do with Donald Trump moving those?
Absolutely nothing. But it does show why people don't like the idea of that city being the centre.
Well, how about this then? Now, who is the political party right now ruling Palestine? This is a different tangent on it.
Okay.
Hezbollah. Hezbollah are in the top 10 terrorist ranking groups in the world.
I can believe that.
They are.
Yep.
Now, I can't believe I'm about to say this because I hated the PLO.
Yeah.
But I would rather have Yasser Arafat and the PLO in charge. So why the hell should America listen or bow before a terrorist group? And people who do lob grenades and bombs and God knows what else over the West Bank walls every day.
Yeah.
And who want to actually drive the Jews into the sea. I mean, you've got to take both sides of the equation here. Now, I openly admit, and I already have, the West Bank is Palestinian land as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
And Israel should, by rights, give it back. But as far as their capital city goes, it's their capital city. It has been their capital city since 1947.
Yeah, but can you have a capital city that is divided like that has been annexed by force?
Okay.
Just the city. I mean.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, okay, I guess you can. History shows that you can.
and
But you can also see why the UN doesn't like that.
Why?
Why doesn't it like countries being taken over by force or cities being taken over by force?
We're talking historically now, yeah. Okay. So what's the problem in 2017 with a city that's been fully a city since the 60s, early 60s?
Right.
Now, what's the problem today with that? And furthermore, what's the problem with America moving its embassy to Jerusalem? Even if it was half a city, it could still move it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the embassy going to Jerusalem particularly. But to say that there's not some big history there and you can't see why, that people are up in arms about it is a bit disingenuous.
No. No, because historically speaking, it's their land traditionally. If they wanted to say, let's do the traditional owner thing. Palestine doesn't exist. So let's be
depends
honest.
how far back you go, doesn't it? I mean, who is the ultimate owner?
Well, the Canaanites aren't around. They were the guys before the Jews.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to let the Italians own it because the Romans did it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But seriously, I mean, we could take the whole traditional owner. Now, the UN love the traditional owners argument when it comes to Australia.
Yeah.
Why don't they love it? I mean,
because they made a pact secretly to say that this half belongs to them, this half belongs to them.
Yeah, they did. The UN say a lot of, and the UN have really stopped Japanese whaling in Antarctica. I mean, come on.
But they're not happy about it.
Well, they couldn't give two craps.
Hmm.
They don't even bloody find them anymore.
No.
This is the problem I have. Ultimately, it comes down to the UN.
Yes. Which is the toothless organisation, let's be fair.
Well, no, it's got teeth, but the problem is... Oh, it does have teeth. The problem is they're little, jagged and pointing in the wrong direction. They can't eat much, but they try to tell everybody else how to live their lives. But when it comes to this, there has never been a two-state solution between those two nations.
No.
And the main reason is they just don't like each other.
Yes, that would be an understatement.
One wants to drive one into the ocean, the other one wants to just wish it would just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no great love for their form of warfare at all. But to say that America choosing to say, no, look, the capital is in Jerusalem, even if it was still half a city, there's nothing wrong with it. And it's stupid to these people going, how dare you want to move your embassy to the capital city? That's stupid. If it was still half a city, America had an embassy in Berlin before 1989. Believe it or not, that was half a city.
Yep.
What the hell? All this is people hate Donald Trump.
Yep. Okay, so I can tell you that more than 120 countries have defied Donald Trump and voted in favour of a United Nations General Assembly resolution calling for the United States to drop its recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. So that's 128 countries in total. 9 voted against and 35 abstained, including Australia, actually. We abstained. So basically, the only people that voted against the motion, which is supporting Trump, then, are the people that get lots and lots of money from the US.
Can we stop using the Trump bit?
No, he is the figurehead for this.
Well, no, because people have made it all about him. He's not the only person in the American Senate who sees Jerusalem.
No, but he is the figurehead.
He
may not be the person with deciding.
But the thing is, everybody's defying Trump. No, they're defying. They're not even defying America. They're defying Israel's right to have a capital city called Jerusalem, whether it be half a city or a full city.
Which is consistent with the UN from previous.
It doesn't matter because
consistency matters.
Well, I tell you what, the UN and the World Geographical Society need to have a discussion because every single episode I've ever seen, Tel Aviv is not the capital city.
Yep.
Jerusalem is the capital city, has been since 1947.
Mm-hmm.
The UN, for some reason, is sitting on a fence.
Yes.
It doesn't want to piss off the Palestinians.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't want to piss off the Israelis.
Yep.
And has managed to piss off both of them and America at the same time. It's an amazing feat.
It is, yeah. It's pretty impressive.
I mean,
despite being the majority, they've still managed to piss off everyone.
And to tell you let everyone know how important America actually is to propping up the UN.
Mm-hmm.
They've come out today and said that they're going to start cutting funding to the UN, and the UN has come out and gone, oh my God, we're going to go broke. Now, I just want to remind everybody, China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and many other huge world economies aren't willing to put any more money into the UN.
No.
Who is the UN funded by? Oh, hang on. Now, I'm not suggesting that America should be the hegemony. And in fact, they've been outvoted. Fine. They haven't got hegemony on this. But sitting on a fence doesn't solve a problem.
No. All right, let's look at another way. Do we need the UN? Does the UN do anything? Does it accomplish anything? Let's put it like that.
Well, can you name me one conflict or one major world-changing issue that the UN has actually influenced in the last 50 years, beyond the WHO?
Not significantly, no.
Okay. The UNHCR, the Human Rights Commission.
Yes.
Who's it chaired by? Which country?
Human rights? Is that China?
Absolutely.
Yes.
who are now telling Australia and everyone else about their human rights record when how many tens of millions of people died in the 60s when Mao Zedong?
Mm-hmm.
How about Tiananmen Square people?
Yeah.
People still go missing.
Yep.
And yet they're dictating us about, okay, yeah, we're not perfect.
Yep.
Absolutely not. And every Aboriginal people have every right to be pissed off about the past.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. But it's China. and Saudi Arabia are in charge of the women's rights.
Right.
And everybody went out this year and went, Saudi Arabia are letting women drive. and then acted as if it was some great equality movement. I'm sitting going, yeah, and don't let them be raped by another man who isn't their husband.
That's right.
Jesus. Don't let them catch you if you're gay. They'll throw you off a building.
Yeah.
Don't be an atheist. You're in big trouble. And this is the thing. The UN has become, people are going, it's politically correct. No, the problem is it's the opposite.
Yeah.
It's politically incorrect and become stupid.
But no, I don't see what they do. I mean, the refugee camps are well known to be dens of rape, murder. Very few people ever get out. It's not a good place to be. And
they don't actually provide. I mean, this is a very simplified version of what the UN and the League of Nations was meant to be. They're basically meant to be an overwatch organisation to make sure that tyranny didn't take over, tyrannical countries didn't take over other countries, and basically it was a Russia watch. Let's be honest. It was basically set up in the Cold War to make sure that Stalin behaved himself. Mm-hmm. But now, the last major conflict, I think that they sent peacekeepers to Rwanda with the Hutu and the Tutsis when there was being mass genocide committed by the Hutu to the Tutsis. And what did they do? They just sat around there with their guns chewing bubble gum and not kicking ass. I mean, Newcomb would have been very upset.
No, you're right. They're a bouncer. They're not a bloody a policeman. Yeah,
they're not even a bouncer. They don't do anything. They just sort of. I mean, if the UN had teeth, with all these refugees in the Middle East, if you want to call them refugees, most of them I think are economic migrants, but that's not the point here. There are so many encampments in Saudi Arabia set up for 2 million people.
Yep.
Why aren't the UN saying, Saudi Arabia, pick your game up, you're now a member of the UN, get these people in these camps?
Yep.
They're not enforcing that. Why not? It just seems to me that they just don't want to do anything. They want all the money in the world to sit down and dictate to everybody else and tell everybody how bad they are. Mm-hmm. But they're not lifting a finger to help anyone.
No.
Yeah. So, I mean, the UN, to me, they're like HR department for the world. Really.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad way to put it, actually.
They're like the WorkSafe inspector. You can't be. They're only there to tell you about the negative stuff you're doing, not the positive stuff. Yeah. And they're not trying to help you. They're actually trying to, give you a fine and try to tell you off.
Maybe auditors would be better. They got no control over you. They can come in. They can tell you what you should be doing, and then as soon as they leave, you just turn around and go back to what you're doing.
Essentially, actually, like auditors.
Yeah,
yes.
Because HR actually has some power over you.
Well, the UN does as well. I mean, the UN can because they can sanction you.
Yeah.
So the UN does have powers of sorts. It has economic hegemony, and that's a bit of a worry. But when it comes to actually, fighting the wars, fighting the battles, whether you like it or not, whether we like it or not, I mean, let's face it, the good old septic tank Yang, everybody makes fun of them.
Yeah. So what you mean is the UN should be some sort of world police, maybe? They should.
No, I'm suggesting we should disband them because they're dysfunctional, useless people.
Yeah. No, but when we all really know that America has the world police.
Well, America has no choice. Right. Who else is going to do it?
Yeah.
I mean, we can all make fun of the fact that there is no such thing as weapons of mass destruction. Talking about Team America,
Yeah, that's
bad
intelligence.
Bad intelligence. But who else stepped into the breach?
No one was going to.
Who helped? I mean, okay, they did it the wrong way. But hey, is Saddam Hussein still running Iraq?
No.
That's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay. They went into Afghanistan. Yeah, they did it the wrong way. But, they kicked ass all over the Taliban. Yeah. Bernie probably feels it was not a good move, but still, they were the only ones there. Now, Cambodia was the biggest mess you've ever seen.
Yeah. Vietnam
was one of the most pointless, futile wars in the world. But one country was trying to take over another country, and who stepped into the breach?
Yeah.
America. As much as they're stupid, thank God they're around.
Well, I mean, that's right, but they haven't always been the first to jump in.
No.
But this time, and I think for Saddam, obviously they went looking for reasons to jump in.
Oh, well, that was George Bush going, I can do better than my dad. Good old George Bush. Yeah. But when it comes to Jerusalem is the capital city. It is recognised by everyone except the bloody UN as the capital city, probably a few Middle Eastern states, as the capital. And whether it's in half or not, let's just say it was in half and Palestine still had East Jerusalem. Let's just say that. That's fine. America moving its embassy, Donald Trump moving the embassy to West Jerusalem, so what?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't care either way. I don't think embassies really accomplish much, really. It's all there to put a front on all the stuff that happens in the background.
I think that this has been made of because everybody in the world at the moment is trying to diss on Donald Trump. Not necessarily because he's done anything good or bad, just because they don't like him.
I thought it was a pretty weird move by the UN to vote on something what a nation is doing with their embassy. Yeah. What business is it of yours particularly?
Well, especially when that nation basically funds you.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, once again, America doesn't need the UN, and this is the other point I'd like to make. I mean, the UN actually said to George W. Bush, in no uncertain terms, you are not going into Iraq. And America went, yes, exactly. The UN said, we need to stop sanctioning Russia. And America went, yeah, exactly. The UN saying, we need to watch North Korea and we need to tone down on that, Mr. Trump. And America's going,
fuck you.
You short little fat bastard. And it's okay, it's childish, it's tit for tat on Twitter. But America is standing the hell up against a country that's threatening everybody around with nuclear freaking weapons. Now, whether or not they use it, I don't know. But at least there is at least one country with the balls and the backbone and the ability to stand up. And, this whole thing with Israel and Palestine, we've had 4 consecutive presidents. We had Bill, I like playing the sax and so does Monica.
Yes.
Clinton. We had George Walker Bush, W.
Yep.
We had Obama. Yeah. So that's 4 successive presidents who made it key. One of their key promises with their geopolitical maneuvers was, we're going to try to broker peace between Palestine and Israel. That's over 20 years, considering each one of them had 2 terms, right?
Yep.
I think Herbert did it as well, and Reagan certainly did.
Yeah.
So we're talking now 30 odd years now. It's not going to happen.
No.
These 2 people want to drive each other into the Mediterranean.
Yes.
And it's not going to happen. Fence sitting isn't going to work. Eventually, it's going to have to be resolved one way or another, and possibly with force, hopefully not.
No.
But moving an embassy, come on.
That's right. It's pretty low key, nothing in the scheme of things.
It's just. How did you put it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. I think we've done that one.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So as we do this, we're in between Christmas and New Year. And looking on the TV the other day, there was the Boxing Day riots, maybe we call it.
Well, in Australia it's a riot.
In Australia it's not too bad, to be fair.
Yeah, well, see, riots in Australia are 3 men and a dog. So therefore, shopping days is tens of thousands of people and a few other furry pets.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, in Australia there's people lining up out the door. In America, from what I see on TV, it's a massive riot.
Yeah.
And then you go to Canada and everyone's saying, excuse me, hey, did you have your hand on it? Sorry, I'll just go somewhere else.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey. I should point out that the only reason we know Canada is from The Simpsons, so...
and with our Yankees.
And we know so...
curling's a real sport.
Yeah.
God damn.
Okay, but no, so this is obviously based on the American what do they do? The Black Friday after Thanksgiving.
That's right.
We have Boxing Day.
Mm-hmm.
And China has 11th the 11th, which is Singles Day.
Right.
But then, so that's a huge thing for them. But China being China, they do it all online.
Well, you see, they have to do it online because, have you ever read the book 1984?
Yes, I have.
Big Brother.
Yeah. Anyway, so I just wanted a quick chat about that. I think it's, I hunt around for deals as well, no doubt. And you see things like, $5 TVs and things like that. It's like, how can you pass that up? Is it worth lining up for 12 hours and for a 1 in 100 chance to get a big TV for $5? And look, it quite possibly is. Is it worth punching someone for that? And not to mention, if you're picking up and you grabbed it, someone else can just come and grab it off you because your hands are busy. It's I don't get the. I guess we've got to call it greedy.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever watched the movie Jingle All the Way?
Unfortunately, yes, I have.
Yeah, I know. Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't always make good movies, but when I look at that sort of thing, it's greed, but it's also a lot of the poorer set who don't have much, generally speaking. Okay, So you get people. We're not talking. If you're in the middle class or the upper class, well, you can afford a $300, $400 TV.
Yep.
If you're in the lower class or we've got no money, and you see a $5 TV, and you're still working on a CRT, and that's an LCD.
Yep.
Dude, you're going to beat the shit out of whoever comes your way to get to that LCD.
Well, that's right. I certainly don't have a problem with people going there and buying stuff. If it's on sale, you have every right to go and get it. But I don't like. I'm just going to go back to the word riot. It really is something similar to a riot. People die.
And how? Well, that's true. And how much of it though is eBay?
Well, there is all that sort of stuff, but there's a lot of brick and mortar shops.
No.
Oh, that's what you mean buying to put on eBay.
Exactly.
Oh well, I couldn't give a percentage, but I would say a reasonable amount.
Because it's sort of when you get these big rock concerts.
Yeah.
Now, these days, most of that's online, so nobody does, well, there's still places, obviously, where they do the big lineups around the corner. But, you're waiting for 14 hours in line to the possibility of getting a ticket, and then some scalper arsehole in front of you buys the last 12.
Yes.
And then offers you one for 6 times the price.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm just wondering how much of that is somebody who, they're not called scalpers, but, I mean, thievery, yeah. We grab a $5 TV that's worth $400, brand new, still in its box, on eBay, $350, and what's their profit margin? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it happens. But yeah, a lot of it I feel is, once again, we've got no numbers on this, and I've got no numbers, but, I couldn't imagine, Mr. and Mrs. Joe Bloggs who are on $85K a year.
Mm-hmm.
Not each. Well, let's just say combined they're on $130K a year. Giving a shit.
No, you're probably right on that. Although, some people like that.
Yeah, that it's. I think that there's this idea though, if we have to go and get the specials and the savings,
which is exactly why they're there. You need to create a scarcity, right? So you'll see it like, $5 TVs, 10 only. So that means if you're not in the door first thing, then you're not going to get one.
No.
And that leads to all these people lined up and the pushing, the shoving, all those videos of, they open up the doors, people getting knocked over and trampled.
The funny thing is I don't know too many people who don't own a TV.
No, but it's an upgrade or it's the eBay factor.
So, as you say, it's great. They think they see free money, and there's just no such thing. And so all these people lining up and killing each other, and it horrifies me that people die in these stampedes.
Yeah.
It horrifies me because it's like, okay, is your life worth that TV? Is anyone's life, anyone's life worth a damn dress or whatever it is you're chasing?
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
No.
So then it's become a big commercial idea. It's sort of like, Christmas wasn't a big deal until the 1920s and the Coca-Cola company came out with this big fat guy with a grey beard and it was Santa Claus.
That's a little bit harsh on Coca-Cola. They helped to make it popular, but they certainly didn't invent the guy.
Well, let's be honest, he didn't have 7 reindeer before then. So, I mean, of course they commercialise, and the same thing is happening with this. It's just a big commercial farce for them to get rid of their old stock,
yep.
and to sort of pretend that they're doing some civic duty.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. It's a load of crap, and you can find great deals besides this.
Yeah.
So my advice, for what it's worth, I mean, you do whatever you want in your life. You're free to do and live however you want. Go for it.
Yep.
My advice is keep your $5, put it in the bank, and next time you get $5, put that in the bank, and live within your means, because a TV at the end of the day does not put food in your tummy.
No, you're right. It doesn't. Not unless you can sell it on eBay and then buy more of it.
In which case, you're a scummy bastard. Anyway, I have very little respect for that sort of thing, but that's just me. I don't like scalpers.
It's a market. Yeah, it's a market. But the problem with scalpers is you've got something that has a specific price, and then they go way up. So something like the TV, you'd be buying it for a tenth of the price, selling it for close to its actual price. So if you're buying a $400 TV for $250, does it really affect you if the guy selling it bought it for $5? Whereas a scalper's ticket, if you're buying a ticket worth $100 for $600 and the scalper got it for $100, I think that's worse.
Okay, I'll concede the point, but I still don't like it.
Okay, that's fair enough. You don't have to. And of course, let's not forget. Well, I buy all my concert tickets online, where I get to pay the $8 convenience fee for printing it out at home.
Commercialism.
Oh, this is the problem when you have monopolies on ticket sales, people.
Yeah, don't play Monopoly, especially with friends.
Or soon to be ex-friends.
Yeah, if you don't like them, play Monopoly.
Yeah.
And if you've got an annoying member of your family, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for tuning in to the Hitchens Razor Gang. Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, Googs.
And we'll be back next week with another podcast. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Hitchens Razor Gang.